Well, good morning. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We are thrilled that you are here on this Tuesday morning. Hope that you had a great weekend. Hope that you are enjoying the videos that we're putting up. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. We have a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of videos to put out. We have over 1,000 videos on this channel. 1,000 videos on this channel. So I'm sure there is something for most everybody, no matter what your stripe is. Maybe your stripe is more left leaning, so you have a whole plethora of things to be PO'd about on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and comment. Fine. Um, and if you are more right leaning or center right leaning, a whole bunch of stuff to share, a whole bunch of stuff to be excited about, a whole bunch of stuff to say yeah about. So go ahead and do that. All right. This is a I don't know if this is a sad story or if it's a weird story for sure. You might remember this dude, Larry Nassar, doctor, former doctor Larry Nassar, who was a sports physician, and he treated a lot of young girls because he was involved in gymnastics. He was a sports doctor. He also treated a lot of young girls who were, on the U.S. Olympic team, and he got 175 years in jail for sexually abusing what they believe are hundreds of young girls. Um, and you probably should. Before I tell you what happened, actually, I was listening to Jesse Kelly last night on the way home about this story, and he made a really good point that I want to share with you. If you don't know, listen to Jesse Kelly. That if you are a parent and you have a youngster, especially a daughter um, who's involved in sports, make sure that line of communication is open between you and your daughter. And I don't mean to be crass here, but especially if that sport puts your daughter in a uniform that she may be, for lack of better terms, scantily dressed. Volleyball, really short shorts, right? Swimming, obviously, gymnastics, because unfortunately, our reality is that some of the worst abusers show up in these sports, especially in these girls and women's sports, and they are predators. So make sure that you stay intimately involved. Make sure that you keep the lines of communication open with your daughter. Now, again, I'm not saying that you need to, if your daughter's just a swimmer, pull her out of swimming right now, or if she's a volleyball player, pull her out of volleyball right now. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you need to play a bigger role. That you need to keep a more vigilant eye on the people around them. Now, this goes for boys too, but you need to have a bigger presence, be more vigilant about what's going on. Don't just drop them off and pick them up later and never ask about it. Go to the meets, go to the matches, get to know everybody, talk to other parents, become involved. Now, it's not, and if somebody doesn't want you that involved, that's a red flag. Anyway, this dude, Larry Nassar, got 175 years in prison, get a life sentence. They just added him up until he was in jail, for almost 2 centuries. He will obviously die there. Well, he almost died before 175 years because there was an attack. He was stabbed multiple times. in a fight with another inmate at a federal prison in Florida. This is how the world sort of does this. It sort of connects. The attack took place on Sunday at the United States Penitentiary Coleman in Florida. Now, on Sunday, probably in and around the time of the attack, I was driving on the interstate past that area on the way back home from Tallahassee. So there's a very good chance that this was happening while we were driving back. Nassar, who was stabbed in the neck, back, and chest, is reportedly okay. Here's a story from the AP. The story from the AP says the prison was experiencing staffing shortages like everywhere else, and one of the people familiar with the matter said the officer assigned to the unit where Nassar was held was working mandated overtime shifts. The people were not authorized to publicly discuss the detail of the attack or the ongoing investigation and spoke to the AP on the condition of anonymity. Nassar is serving decades, a couple of centuries in prison for convictions in state and federal courts. He admittedly sexually assaulted athletes when he worked at Michigan State University and Indianapolis-based USA Gymnastics with trained Olympians. Separately, Nassar pleaded guilty of possessing child porn. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. So kind of interesting how worlds collide here as I'm cruising through that very area. My son is driving and he sees a sign and I say, oh, that Coleman, that's a federal prison. There are federal prisons in every state, but there's a federal prison there. And I didn't realize that Larry Nassar was there and nearly got murdered there while we were driving through Sunday. But what's interesting about the story is that some of the people that were attacked by Nassar spoke out once they found out. Rachel Denholler, the first woman to publicly accuse Nassar of sexual abuse, spoke out after reports of the attacks surfaced. She tweeted this: "None of the women I've spoken to are rejoicing today. We are grieving the destruction across so much. We are grieving the reality that protecting others from him came with a near certainty we would wake up to this someday." Yeah. So what we know is that child abusers are on the bottom tier of people in prison. On the bottom tier. Because no one is going to lament the loss of a child abuser, especially somebody who abused hundreds of kids. She also tweets, Rachel Denholler tweets, "For all our sakes, we desperately wish he had chosen differently. The farthest we can run from what Larry became is to love. That isn't at odds with justice. This is something that is a seriously what seems to be lost concept." She writes, "The furthest we can run from what Larry became is to love. And that's not at odds with justice. You do what you did and then you pay for that, but that doesn't mean there isn't love. But it means we aren't finding entertainment value in destruction either." She continues, "No one's life is a GIF file for us to mock, even when we are standing against the evil that person has done. It's not the same as justice. To mock them isn't the same as justice. All of us would appreciate it if you lay off the memes, the GIFs, the jokes, because this isn't a joke to any of us. So what Rachel Denholler is asking for people to grow the hell up and understand what's happened here is all of it. Every single bit of it is terrible. Yes, nobody should be surprised, but all of it's terrible. I think Rachel, I agree with you, but you know, like I know, Twitter is a bunch of 13-year-old boys or grown men acting like 13-year-old boys. And the jokes and the memes will continue until the next thing catches their eye. Sarah Klein, who was the first known Nassar victim, urged prison staff to do better to protect him. So he is forced to face the severe prison sentence he received. Because a lot of times these guys feel that death is the relief or the release they're looking for. She says, this assault on Nassar brings no peace to me personally or to the survivors I've spoken with today. She's an attorney that represents sexual abuse victims now, according to the New York Post. The incident forces us to vividly relive our abuse and trauma at the hands of Nassar and the institutions, including law enforcement, that protected him and allowed him to prey on children. She says this, I urge the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons to see that Nassar is not allowed to escape his sentence. She wants him to live out every single day and consequences of his horrible crimes. That he can't just pick a fight with somebody and get stabbed to death and get out. Because a lot of these people, death is the sweet release. Wow. Wow. But anyway, the victims of Nassar would like us all to grow the hell up. Speaking of growing up, somebody will have to explain this to me. During an interview with ABC Sunday, ABC News Sunday, National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, way too long a title, John Kirby, amplified the fact that the United States and its Western allies are facing weapon shortages due to billions in transfers to Ukraine. So this person, John Kirby, this idiot, got on TV and said, oh, yeah, we're running out of bullets because we're giving so many bullets to the Ukraine. He says this is literally a gunfight. They're running out of inventory, Kirby said. We're trying to ramp up our production of the kinds of artillery shells that they are using most, but the production rate is still not where we want it to be. Kirby's statements came after President Joe Biden made the admission during an interview with CNN over the weekend and justified sending cluster bombs, which are banned. This is some stuff that they would accuse Trump of, right? To Ukraine due to the weapon shortages. Like we didn't have enough bullets, so we sent them some cluster bombs, knowing full well they're banned. The reality of low stockpiles have lawmakers concerned about the U.S. weapons production and manufacturing, which has been outsourced to China. The reality of low stockpiles have lawmakers concerned about the U.S. weapons production and manufacturing. Our weapons and manufacturing, our weapons, our bullets, the stuff that we protect our nation with, have been outsourced to the biggest existential threat to the United States there is in the world, to China. Now, we learned during the pandemic that our PPE was made in China. Wuhan is in China, where the virus came from, and our protection was made in China. If you think that global warming is the biggest threat we have, you're a moron. You're just a moron. Our weapons production, the thing that actually protects us as a nation, has been outsourced to freaking China. Ro Khanna tweeted, the fact that we do not have enough conventional artillery to send to Ukraine should be a wake-up call. Most of the top 15 steel producers are now Chinese. We don't have a single one. The U.S. urgently needs a strategy to become a manufacturing superpower. Sounds more and more like Trump, right? I mean, you would think that some of this stuff was done intentionally, absolutely intentionally, to bring down this country. It seems like it's too much for it just to be stupid people. It's too perfect to just be stupid people or greedy people. Tell your friends. Share this video. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video, share this segment with your friends and neighbors. Ask your liberal friends if it makes sense that the artillery that our nation protects itself with is made in China, and that all of the 15 major, again, back to steel manufacturing, that we use are in China. Most of the top 15 steel producers are now Chinese. And we don't have a single one. We don't have one steel manufacturer in the top 15 in the world. Again, thank you for coming. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, comment. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Again, my name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, I'll take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.